if you have a relationship and you want to maintain that relationship, then make sure you don't do the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. So, number one is, if your supervisor tells you to do something or asks you to do something and you do it immediately, but if your spouse, if your husband, in this case, asks you to do something and you don't do it, or you take forever to do it, or you forget to do it, if that does not happen with your supervisor, you have to ask yourself, who's more important, my supervisor or my husband? And so if you are wanting to ruin your relationship, one of the ways that you can do that is to make your supervisor, again, more important than your spouse. You can put the needs of your supervisor above the needs of your husband. A lot of women do this and don't realize it. So a lot of what I'm talking about in this video are actually things that are not commonly talked about. Of course, when it comes to divorce, when it comes to relationships being ruined, people point to sex and finances and the children and, all these different things. But what I'm talking about in this video are things that people often don't look at, don't realize. Particularly when I say people, I mean modern women. Women, Black women in this case, do not realize that their supervisor, right, regardless of whether the supervisor is a man or a woman, their supervisor is above their spouse, above the person they married. Because when and you can say, and this is going to be the common rebuttal, well, I need to get paid. That is my boss. I have to keep my job. Those are my responsibilities at work. But you don't view your home life in the same way. And I'm not saying that your husband is your boss. I'm saying that in many ways, your husband is actually more important than your boss. So in that regard, you should be also, if your husband asks you to do something, you should be also doing those things as well. And this goes both ways, right? This also goes in the other direction as it relates to what husbands should also be doing. Okay, so this is not, but again, you guys know I talk about Black women, so this is why I'm framing it this way. I am a Black woman. Another way to ensure that you ruin your relationship is to put everyone else above your spouse, your husband in this case. To put everyone else, to put everything else above and before your man. This is how you can ensure that your relationship will be ruined, okay? This happens a lot, and one of the things that we need to look at is what kind of access do people have to us? How much access are we giving folks who are not part of our immediate family, and is that draining us? And I recently made a YouTube short about being an introvert, and I'll be talking more about this. But for me, for example, I spend most of my time is spent with my daughter and my husband. For me, also as a introvert dominant person, I have an extroverted side, but my introverted side, which is dominant, I'm always trying to conserve my energy. So the majority of my energy is going to my daughter, my husband, my job, various responsibilities, I should say my jobs, all of my duties, right? Cooking, cleaning, grocery store, whatever it is. And whatever's left, that I give to the outside world. The problem is that a lot of people don't triage and compartmentalize this. They actually give to their jobs, their all, give to their friends, their all, give to their coworkers, their all, sometimes give to the internet, their all, meaning spending a lot of time scrolling on social media. And the people who really matter, you know, your family, the folks you live with, those people get the leftovers. And that is definitely one way that you can ensure that your relationship will be in the trash can, okay? Another way, and this video, I'm just gonna name 3. I have a lot more. So if you guys like this type of video, I can certainly do part 2 of this. But another way to ensure that your relationship is completely ruined is not being open to constructive feedback and constructive criticism, right? And so this is something when you get into a relationship that when you get into a relationship, this is something very normal, and both people should be giving each other constructive feedback and criticism. One of the problems is that, you know, a lot of women who have been single for a long time sometimes can struggle when getting feedback and criticism, particularly from the opposite sex, from a man, in this case, a black man. It can feel and maybe sound harsh, or feel and sound intrusive, or, you know, your defenses are up, or your defenses go up. But the reality is that is the only way you can improve. That is the only way the relationship can improve, is if you're both giving constructive feedback. And one of the interesting things that I look at is the fact that some women who watch my videos struggle with the content in my videos or the message that I give. And I'm always interested because it seems like a lot of people, you know, there are, you know, many people in the comment section who are married, and I know that because they'll a lot of times reference that they're married. And then the single people who watch my video struggle to digest the message. And here's my thing. I mean, if you are struggling with my videos, you know, I typically try to deliver the message as demurely as possible, as mindful and cutesy as possible. Okay. So if you cannot digest what I'm saying, my delivery, I don't curse. Okay. I don't yell. Typically, I have been accused of yelling in a video, but I typically don't yell. I try to maintain a very feminine demeanor. If you cannot accept what I'm saying, and if it sounds harsh, how on earth will you hear any type of constructive feedback or criticism from a man, especially from a black man? Because I can tell you, when a black man often gives critiques and criticisms, he may not be doing it in a demure and cutesy way. So that is something to think about, is how open are you to feedback, to criticism, to constructive criticism? Are you defensive? Do your defenses immediately go up anytime someone says something about you that they don't like, or that you potentially should change or alter about yourself, and not anything intrinsic about yourself that you should be altering, but the things that can be altered. You know, these are things you need to think about. So again, this was 3 ways that you can ensure that you absolutely ruin your relationship if you do these things. But let me know what you guys think. What other things can be done to ruin a relationship? Or what other things can be done that prevent and block black women from getting into a relationship? Let me know in the comment section. So like, share, and subscribe. Click the links in the description box and get to know what I do with my media business, Curated Legacy LLC. I offer coaching, consulting, mentoring, and a speaking service as well. Join the Black and Invisible YouTube membership and purchase my book on Amazon about being an invisible black woman. This is Naka here to make the invisible visible, about modern black women. And I highlight the things that black women, they were not going to tell you any of this. And as always, stay tuned for more videos.